what type of tools do you have in your little toolkit?
Well, it's very basic. One of the things that I try to do is prepare I for the week ahead. I get all my clothes out for the week and they're all done, so that I don't have to fuss and muss about going to what I have to wear. And I work out in the morning. So there are some absolutes in my life. Working out is one of them. Whether that's walking, going to the gym, or yoga. That calms my nervous system because of the childhood trauma. My nervous system is very overactive, and then I can become anxious. I meditate. So I try to do solid routines in the morning, you know, and that has helped. That grounding, that solid foundation, that helps. The meditation, the breathing, the hot yoga has taught me so much because it has taught me how to survive big things that I can just, what's the word? Everything changes. Okay. So if I can just last, breathe, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Yeah. Learning boundaries,
Yeah, that's a
knowing,
big one, isn't it?
yeah, that's what I've been learning this last, I would say, 3 years.
So, welcome back to the Passionate Pioneer podcast series 3. I'm Beth Taylor. You know me. I am the Passionate Pioneer responsible for the Passionista movement. And this podcast is about your connection into spiritual awakening, experiences, and of course, the path to joyful living. And today I'm joined by a very old friend and a Passionista for sure, Tara Bush. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
Very, very well. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. So, for people that don't know you, would you mind giving us a quick introduction before we dive into your story?
Sure, Beth. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really honored to be on your podcast. Well, I grew up all my life as a heavy girl, very heavy girl. I was 428 at my heaviest. That was probably in 2002, and then I got picked to go to the Olympics to cover sports for the Cayman Islands. I know that sounds weird that I'm so heavy and covering a sports reporter, and then I lost a little over 100 pounds to go to the Olympics. So I went down to about under 300. Um, as I came back from the Olympics, I blew out my knees in it was the Athens Olympics. I blew out my knees, came back home, and Ivan hit 9 days later. And I ate myself back up to over 400 pounds. So, and then I had gastric bypass surgery in 2006, and I lost my weight then, and my journey started then.
Yes, I remember that time because I was in the Cayman Islands at that time, and I
Yeah.
remember that you had the surgery and the weight loss was incredible, an incredible story.
Yes, it really, I got my life back. I no longer felt trapped in a body that couldn't support my weight any longer because by 2006, I had broken, I think 2005, I broke a bed, a tub, stepping into the tub, multiple chairs. So I knew something had to change. And this was the only way forward. So,
So that was because my first question would be, what was the moment you first realized that something needed to change, and that was it for you, right? Was the
no, actually, it was in 2004. We went on a cruise after we had planned a family cruise after I came back from the Olympics, and we still went on it despite Ivan. And I was just in so much, even though wasn't so heavy then, I was in so much pain. And I made everybody's life miserable. And I went to get my cards read. And the woman doesn't know me from the man in the moon and said, if you don't get gastric bypass surgery, your lungs are going to fill up with water and you're going to die. And
Oh,
she didn't know me. And I had pneumonia like 3 times the year before. So that's one of the reasons why they gave me gastric bypass surgery, because I didn't have diabetes. My cholesterol was fine. It was just my lungs were impacted. They were being squeezed from the inside.
right. Yeah. I can imagine, I mean, all that weight, because that's a lot, isn't it? £400 is a
Yeah.
lot. Um, so obviously there was some reasons why. Why was it the overeating? Was it a um
Yes.
behavior? Was it a behavior? Yes.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was sexually molested by a gardener. So I didn't want to be seen anyone to see me. You know what I mean? I wanted to be as unseen and unlovable as possible. So I ate. That's my coping mechanism. And if you were growing up in the 80s, 70s, you know that I grew up with my grandparents, and she would say, come on, just eat a little bit more. This will make you feel better, especially sweets. And then also the children starving in Africa, right? So we had to clean our plates. So I learned that. And then eating became my choice of drug to cope. And yeah, it was, I didn't understand all of this until, I started, because I started in 2004 to try to get the gastric bypass surgery, but it took 2 years for get clearance from 𝐓𝐡𝐞 to get it. Um, so during that journey, I went and saw a therapist,
Hmm.
and that helped me to understand my behaviors around food and why it was so important.
Right. It's the starting to unpack and undo all of the,
Yeah,
unpack all of the behaviors and what had happened and the trauma.
yeah,
Because it's not the first time that I've heard that. Everybody has different um, coping mechanisms, right?
yeah,
And yours was food. And for people that don't know, 𝐚𝐤𝐞 is the Cayman Islands version of the health insurance, right? So
yeah, yes,
um, so everybody has health insurance, and these things take time. So it took you, but you used that time well. So while you were waiting for them to approve the
mhm,
surgery, you went to therapy and spent
yeah,
that time understanding the reasons behind the eating, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was time well spent.
Yes, it
So
was.
so then by the time you got the surgery, you'd already done a lot of work to understand why you
Yes,
were having it and the path to move forward, right?
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So okay, so let's start the story from there then. So you had the surgery, and how's your life changed since then? And what different work are you doing, etc.? Because I know there's many different parts of your life that have changed since then.
Well, Beth, I knew I wanted, everybody kept saying, well, how are you losing the weight? And can you tell me what to do? And of course I would tell them what to do, but does people ever listen? Right? No, they wouldn't. So I I said, let me go into coaching. And I went to New York every month for a year in 2014 for accomplishment coaching. I was considering health coaching, but I said, let me start with life coaching first and then build up to the health coaching. And I did that I traveled every month to New York and Washington, D.C. and San Diego and Chicago I held that job out until my boss told me to pick one. In 2000, at the end of 2018, I quit. I had to give up the traveling every month because even though I did the coaching and then I became a mentor, I was coaching other people in the program. So, and I did that, like I said, for what, 4 years. And then when I came back home, I was so burnt out because, you're traveling and I had a full client list. To be honest with you, I was burnt out. My partner and I nearly split up over it because we had a huge argument.
Right.
And then I realized that I couldn't keep pushing myself to that degree and still help people, you know? So that changed the way of me doing things.
And I think that's important, isn't it? Because you've got to have that balance. And obviously, when you give, and when you're in the wellness industry, like you said, the life coaching, the mentoring, it is important work, but you've got to understand that you've got to take care of yourself as well. And
Yeah,
that's the balance, right? You've got to have a relationship. You've got to have a life outside of work, right?
yeah. That was a huge life lesson for me because I nearly took the entire 2019 off from coaching because I was just so tired and dedicated myself then to my job at the portfolio of the civil service, where I was partly doing communication and then partly doing wellness for the entire Cayman Islands government. And then COVID hit.
Hi, I just wanted to pop on here just to say thank you so much for being here, watching this video and supporting my channel. It is my honor to bring you these stories from these incredible women who are passionate about their lives and have alchemized their spiritual awakening journeys from service to self to service to others. If you would like to be part of my Passionista community, just grab a free copy of my workbook, which you'll find a link below. It's called Your Passionista Journey Starts Here. And start making those small changes to your life that you need right now. Thank you again for being here. Love you to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know when all the new weekly episodes are live. Thanks again, Passionista. Much love and joy. Now let's get back to the interview.
In 2020. And that also added some respite to the rest. But I took a health coaching course during that time, and I took John Maxwell course, and I worked. We did a podcast, a Zoom session for civil servants every Monday to Friday for the entire time of our lockdown.
And how long was the lockdown in Cayman?
God, I do not know. I know it started March 3rd, but it just seemed like we had different versions of lockdown,
Yeah,
I know we were at least in lockdown till about August, September.
right. Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was all through, I should say, until 2021. And then we transitioned to one every week. And about that time, then I was promoted to the wellness coordinator for the Cayman Islands government. Yeah.
Right. So that was another little pivot, right? Another little change.
Yeah.
What were you doing before this whole journey of losing weight and being a health mentor and coach. What were you doing before that, Tara?
I worked for the Compass as a sports reporter, believe it or not. That's why I was able to go to the Olympics to cover the games um, for the Cayman Islands government. Sorry, it's a little hot,
It's okay.
even though I have on the AC. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. The Cayman Islands, you've only got 4 seasons. That's hot, 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 very hot, and extremely hot, right?
Yes, and I think it's not even June and we're extremely hot.
Right. Yeah, it's that time. It's coming up to that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, so it was a big change for you to go from a sports commentator and in that industry to going
Mm.
into the health industry, right?
Yes, it took um a lot of time and effort, but I realized that I loved it. I really loved helping people to re to find themselves, to get to their better selves. I love that work.
That's what I love too. It's joyful, isn't it? It's joyful work.
Yes, it is. It
To
is.
want to see other people improve and help them to get there. And as a coach, you're just opening doors,
That's it.
right? You're just
Making
opening doors.
Helping them to realize their their better selves, to see some, a lot of us, other people see potential in us and they raise us up. I mean, we don't go in this world by ourselves. And they see, I'm sure someone saw Beth and said, let me give you a job, or, I think she'll be good at this. And, that's all coaching is in a way, just help, but it's more like reaching inside of you and bringing it out, you know.
Well,
You're
then,
bringing it out.
yeah, that's right. Correct. Well, you would just ask the questions and you bring it out.
Yeah.
Everybody has the answers inside of them, and the
Yeah.
coaching is just about, taking them, showing them that there is, there's a way, lots of opportunities for them. They've just got to look in the right direction, and it's about self-awareness, isn't it? With coaching,
Yeah.
right? Of self-awareness. And there's nothing better than being an entrepreneur to help you to find
Mhm.
to find those layers of conditioning and
Yeah.
really become self-aware, because there's nobody there to say, oh, you're doing a good job, Beth, or what about this, or what about this. You've got to have that self-motivation as an entrepreneur.
For true.
Whereas, in a career with a job and a boss and a company, it's a little different. So,
Yeah. And with me, I never felt comfortable enough to just go in coaching. I admire you, but in Cayman, our cost of living is so high that you need three, four, five jobs.
right. Well, it's worse now, isn't it? It's skyrocketed now, hasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it has.
from what I understand, it was expensive when I was there, but manageable. It was
Yeah.
manageable. It was all relative, your salary but yes, I
Hmm.
totally understand being an entrepreneur. See, in Europe, it's manageable because the cost of living is lower.
Yeah, yeah,
And you balance it with your partner's salary, and it's
yeah.
it's all manageable. Whereas in the Cayman Islands, I mean, it is the number one most expensive place in the world, isn't it? Next to Switzerland.
It gotta be. I
Yeah.
mean,
But again, it's all relative. So when you were ready for that change, so you talked about the change happening in about 2014, yes? So once you were doing that, what did your brain think at the time? Like, oh, I'm going to move from the sports industry into the coaching industry, because it's a huge transition. So how did you trust yourself that this was right for you?
well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I thought I was insane. Um, and accomplishment coaching, when you go through that program, it it dives deep in you to bring out stuff. So every weekend was a revelation, another layer being opened up or revealed, or, I almost, for the first 3 months, I was like, this is too much. I started to overeat again. I called my therapist. I said, I need to come back.
I can't deal with getting rid of the layers of conditioning. I
Yeah,
can't deal with myself, my true self, right?
all the limiting beliefs and all it challenged religion, it challenged finances, it challenged love, um, your health. Even that, I was like, wow, yeah, so it was a tough 12 months, but I would I would like to go back now and redo it because I think I was hell with my I have a wicked survival mechanism. Yeah, I do.
That's funny. Well, you do. You're obviously tenacious because you did it. I mean, even though it's hair raising when you've got to self-evaluate and take a good look at all of the areas of your life.
Yeah.
Because as a life coach, you've got to do that to be able to support other people. You've got to have gone through that
Yeah.
experience yourself, right?
And you can't allow their triggers to trigger you so that you're swimming in the same swamp as them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So yeah, it was tough. I'd like to be able to go back now because I think my survival mechanism is I'm more aware. I'm not as you say, tenacious. I mean, who wants to be the angry coach? Because oh my God, I could be so angry in those classes. Like, nonsense are they talking about? Really? So yes, it was trying, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I would
Yep.
recommend, even if you don't want to become a coach, go through a coaching course. It will help on peel those onions layers that you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we've all got them.
Yes.
And it's layers of just BS from all parts of your life, just your
Yes.
teachers, friends at school, bullies, parents, grandparents,
Yeah.
ancestors. Oh, holy moly, bosses, co-workers. They just
Yeah.
it's you know, once you've taken one layer off, did you find, that the expression is next level, next devil? So you're like, you're
Yeah.
continually taking them off, right?
You were, like I said, I was like, what the hell? I would think, oh, this month will be easy, but again, the gratitude that I have for that program was is fulfilling because it set the stage of who I am becoming. And it's not, don't go there thinking that you're going to arrive. There's no destination. Like I think you just said a layer or something about and a devil.
Yeah, next level, next level, next devil.
Yes, and you think you arrived and no, something else comes up and you're like, aha, you know, um, yeah. So
It is an
I
experience,
thought,
isn't it? It's a ride, it's a journey.
yeah, and it sets a stage for your life, um, to be a better person. Um, you know, if you can sit there and work with yourself, be with yourself, understand yourself, and be kind to yourself, then you have the capacity to do that to others. If you don't, then you usually aren't able to be with other people. Your harshness either is projected, um, it comes out. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, Beth. I still got an edge. All right.
Me
Yeah.
too. Me too.
I try to take a deep breath. But at the same time, I'm learning how to be direct without being mean, coming across as mean about it. You
Hmm.
know, that is, I think, is my biggest thing that I'm working on this year is to tell people, or if I need to tell people that you're, you know, doing something wrong. And this isn't a client. This is I work with the Ministry of District Administration and Home Affairs with the 𝐬𝐚𝐤𝐞 government. And
Right.
I'm a culture, leadership development, and wellness senior business HR manager. So I go in and help organizations in that ministry change their culture. I work with the management and the staff to create a culture they want. So helping people, to tell people in a nice way that they can hear, hey, your behavior, what's going on with your behavior here? What's happening? You
Right.
know, because people don't come to work and want to mess up, you know, they're not, they want to come to work and do the best they can. So let's get curious about that.
And create
And
an environment where they can, where their voice is heard and their opinions are wanted, and they can
yes,
work together rather than, there's no I in team, is there? That's,
yes, there's, it might be a cliche, but yeah, everybody's needed, from the
yeah,
janitor at the Kennedy Station Center. He said, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I'm working to get someone, I'm cleaning the bathroom so we can, get a man to the moon." That's,
yeah,
you know, everybody matters. Everyone, no matter what
everyone.
your job is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like that. Um, and I like the stories of, that you were a horrible student learning as a life to be a life coach. But I went through that with a coach, with my coach. And when I first stepped into entrepreneurship, Tara, I didn't realize next level, next devil. I didn't realize how many layers of limiting beliefs and
Yeah.
conditioning I'd got. And it
Yeah.
really, I just used to finish the meeting, and sometimes I would have a meeting and I said, I can't put the camera on because I'm a mess. I'm just crying.
Yeah.
Because you're just dealing with all the, it's cathartic, isn't it? You just have to deal with all of the rubbish and just get it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it feels
True.
much, much better afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Have you got a story from that time where you something clicked for you in that while you were working on yourself?
Well, I have two. I have there's a wonderful lady who talks. She has to explain every single thing to make it work. So everybody understands her context, the content. I can explain something in 5 minutes and she would take 30. So that didn't work for me. Um, and I just lost my shit. And I said, for God's sake, all I hear it because she says, well, what are you hearing from me? I said, all I'm hearing is blah, 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 blah. I just, and I saw how bad I hurt her. And I said, ooh, shit, right? That hurt. That's not who I want to be. So that was a turning point.
Taking
Yeah,
accountability.
yeah. And I mean, she needed to be told that, but she never needed to be told that in that way.
Right.
So, and then the course, um, oh, what do you call him? He's the owner of the company. He said, what Tara's saying is correct, but how she said it is so bad, no one can hear that, right? I think he did that deliberately. Because, yeah, one of us was
But
going to
that's a good
block.
response, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
Tara has a point. However, there's a
yeah,
better way to communicate it,
yeah. And then he
right?
asked other members in the group if they could come up with a different way of saying it. And they did. And then he said his piece, and his piece was way better than all of us, you know. And that was like I said, that was the change, one of the changing points for me too. Yeah, yeah.
And okay, so we've talked about the difficulties as well, but so in all of this journey for you, for the health journey that you've been on since you left the sports industry, what do you think was the most difficult, challenging part for you in this with this health
Transition.
working in this health industry?
Well, everybody either loved me or hated me, the writing of the articles, because I wrote some really nice, steamy, like he missed the ball by a mile, or he kicked it into space, or, you know, and came on. Well, we all know each other, right? But they either loved me or they hated me. So, and during the transition to coaching, I realized then that I had to sell my services. Oh, my living word. That brought up, I think that has been the hardest. Even today, I hate networking. You know, I do it, but ooh.
It is very
uh,
difficult. It's challenging, isn't it? Because especially as women, we're just not very. We're quite humble.
yeah,
We like to stay just doing our thing, but we
mhm.
don't really like to brag about it. It feels like bragging, doesn't it?
It does. And we were told bragging is wrong, and you know,
But men don't seem to have a problem with it,
no, not at all.
right?
Not at all.
Not at all.
So
Isn't that strange that women have a it's challenging for us to you know congratulate ourselves and celebrate.
yeah, and then we think it's something wrong. Like I've always been told, let other people tell the story of your greatness or your good job. But I don't think that works in this world right now.
Mm,
And if I'm doing a good job, why can't I say I'm doing a good job?
exactly. Why do you need someone else to say it when you can quite perfectly say it yourself, right?
Yeah, true.
So so since you've moved, then obviously you've been on this tremendous, amazing um transition from the sports industry to the health industry, which you've been in for a long time now. So you must have learned some tools and techniques to help you because you wouldn't have learned those if you'd been in the sports industry. But now in the wellness industry, you've got all of these tools to help
Yeah.
you in your daily life when things get tough. So what type of tools do you have in your little toolkit?
Well, it's very basic. One of the things that I try to do is prepare. I For the week ahead, I get all my clothes out for the week and they're all done, so that I don't have to fuss and muss about going to what I have to wear. And I work out in the morning. So there are some absolutes in my life. Working out is one of them. Whether that's walking, going to the gym, or yoga, that calms my nervous system because of the childhood trauma. My nervous system is very overactive, and then I can become anxious. I meditate. So I try to do solid routines in the morning, you know, and that has helped. That grounding, that solid foundation, that helps. The meditation, the breathing, the hot yoga has taught me so much because it has taught me how to survive big things that I can just, what's the word? Everything changes. Okay. So if I can just last, breathe, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Yeah. Learning boundaries,
Yeah, that's a
knowing,
big one, isn't it?
yeah, that's what I've been learning this last, I would say 3 years.
Yeah.
And then how can I help? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think boundaries, I think it's really important, isn't it, to have those, you know, that routine. You've got to put you on your schedule,
Yeah.
right? It's really important. And this is where most people fail because, they fall down because you're giving to everybody all the time. You had that experience, didn't you? And you're giving, 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 and your relationship is falling, and your life is, you're exhausted, you're depleted. So you've got to have those, excuse me, those things in your life to sustain you daily, to give
Yeah.
you, to fill up your cup. And
Yeah.
boundaries is a big one because you've got to learn to say no, but not in a nasty way. You
No.
just have to say, I'm really sorry, but my plate is full. I can't today. Maybe I can on Friday or Saturday or next week, but right
Yeah.
now I can't. And that's a polite no.
Yeah.
All right.
And learning that was, you know, again, that was life changing. And because I'm a people pleaser, believe it or not. So, I want to do as much as I can for people. Um, so yeah.
You're not the only one. There's an epidemic at the moment of people pleasing.
Yes.
We all overgive, and especially as coaches, especially in the wellness industry, because we're in the service to others.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so it is natural to overgive, but you've got to learn sometimes to step back and say,
Yeah.
I need a break. I can't do this anymore. I'm taking a day off for me.
Yeah. And
Right.
learning that, you know, has been, like I say, I am more able to be present with people.
So how have your relationships in general, and your daily life and your overall well-being changed since you made this transition?
Well, I think it's gotten a lot better. I know I'm more aware when I'm stress eating, and why. Um, I'm fitter than I've ever been in my life. I've just had total bilateral total knee replacement, and the doctor said, I want you to lose about 20 pounds for this. And I ended up losing about 40 pounds. Um, and that was over the whole year of 2025. Um, I went back to the gym because I don't like the gym. I don't like lifting weights, but us women need to lift weights. So I started to work out. I walked. I really improved my physical well-being. Since 2012, I got a knee injury. I re-injured my knee pretty bad. And that's when they told me I needed knee replacements. Um, so I staved it off for a little while by the different work. Um, so I was probably in the best condition of my life. I'm more at peace. I am more connected to people than I think I've ever been in my life because that's one of my values. My top value is connection with people. I like to talk to people. I don't necessarily do big things in crowds, but I like talking and interacting with people and getting to know them and them getting to know me and my other, yeah. So My relationship, I'm with my partner. We'll be together 30 years.
That's
And
amazing. Well done. 30 years.
yeah, so that's a little bit of love and a lot of grit. Um, because relationships are hard. You can't hide anything after 30 years. They know the good, the bad, the ugly, and the
Everything
good.
in between and everything in between.
Yeah. And they call you, at least my partner calls me out.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I think it is good to have a partner that will call you out on things and stand up to you. But it is nice to hear that, in the wellness industry, that I do think you have to go on a journey of self-awareness and accountability. And I think that what you said earlier about everybody should go on a little coaching journey. And I
Yeah.
think and I think that's true, but not everybody's because it is opening a can of worms. Not everybody's ready for that. But if you are ready for it, I think to get the support with a coach, I think is really important.
Yeah, I think everybody should hire a coach for 6 months to a year just to understand where they stop, what is stopping them. And therapy is great because I still do therapy from time to time, but the coaching is the one that has been probably bigger in peeling back the onion, you know, undoing the limited beliefs. I journal. That's part of my routine. I meditate every single day. Uh, yeah,
And you see, that's another thing. You see, I meditate as well, and I love that you meditate because it really does it when you quiet the noise of the world. It's just it's incredible. Also where I live and where you live as well. You live in a quiet part of the world, on an island. And I live in the mountains in Italy now, so I've got no
uh,
neighbors. So it's very quiet here. I've got, the sound of the birds and the wind in the trees. That's what I wanted, and I
yeah.
think that helps. So, would you have any advice for women that want to meditate, but they find it difficult because they've got a noisy environment all the time? What would be your
Well,
recommendations, Tara?
I didn't realize this, but women who have suffered major trauma have a very hard time meditating because it your brain does not want to be quiet. It's on full on protecting you most of the time. So if you've had high trauma, don't do what I did. A friend took me to a hour meditation and I was in hell for that hour. I mean, literal freaking hell. And I never went back to meditation then until probably 5 years later. But meditate in small bursts and maybe do a walking meditation to calm yourself down a little bit first, some movement, and then go somewhere safe. You don't have to sit down. Sitting down is best, but you can lay down and listen to a tape or one of the apps, or just make a commitment to breathe 1 minute at least 3 times a day, and then go from there. But try it. Your mind might be very monkeyish and it'll be all over the place, but tolerate it. Say, aha, you're doing the thing you're doing. Let me just go back to this. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's just start small, and I think listening to an audio tape,
Yeah.
somebody talking you through it. I mean, the first time I meditated, I think I probably lasted like 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. It was maximum. I've got a monkey mind, and it was just on full all the time, like go, 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 go. And,
Um,
and it just it's like everything else that you do in life. If it's a daily thing, it's just practice,
yeah, it is.
and it improves,
It
right?
does. And you will notice your nervous system calming down. It builds up a bank account for you to tolerate people and situations better. That's what it's done for me. And that's what I understand it does for most people.
So we're almost at the end of my questions, but I've got another interesting question for you. So I believe that every woman has a purpose and a unique gifts. How do you help other women rediscover their individual gifts and align with their mission, or help them in a coaching, mentoring fashion?
I really try to work with women who want to understand their emotions and not run from them, not shut them down. I think that is my passion. So a lot of women are so busy taking care of other people, they don't realize just how little they have left for other people. And I mean, for themselves, sorry. So they just throw themselves under the bus. And then that's soul sucking. So my idea is to first help them to understand the need, what drives them to do that, and how we can make that shift to take care of you and still be there for other people, but you're your number one person, and then, helping other people.
Wonderful. Beautifully said. Yes. And I think that that's true. We're so depleted, we throw ourselves under the bus at the end of everything because we've just given everything to
Yeah,
everybody, right?
yeah.
And we
Especially,
really,
yeah, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Especially women in families with children, um, and husband, or if they're single parents, it's even worse. The guilt and the shame. There's no guilt and shame in this. There's just only you, and how can we make it better for you? So undo those emotions and find out how we can go forward.
Very nice. Yeah, very well said. So, in your experience, do you see that there are more and more of us stepping up, moving out of service to self and
Mhm.
moving into service for others, and in doing so finding personal joy and authentic living?
Yes, and like I see so many younger women doing this now, and um, and I'm happy for them because they're teaching. They have their audience. You know what I mean? They have their niche, and the younger you can get there to undo some of the stuff of childhood, the generational stuff, then you get to be better parents, better employers, because that's really where I try to work. I try to work with leaders. Um, but the first thing you got to do is learn how to lead you so you can lead others well. Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? We really, we really have to understand ourselves. But I think someone like you, Tara, especially in a small country like like Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands, I'm sure that you are leading by example,
Of course,
and
like
they're
I say,
looking to you for leadership, right?
uh, yep, the very job I have. Yeah, yep.
So it's not only the work that you do, you're also showing the next generation of women, look, if I can
Yeah.
do it, you can do it.
Yeah, at 62, if I can do it, then yeah, you can do it too. You can wake up at whatever time you do it. Because I've had to shift. I used to love to wake up and get my routine, walk and get it done. But my body has said, no, you need to work out in the afternoon. So I had to undo that story, especially the weights. I'll walk in the morning. but the gym stuff I have to do in the afternoon. So making time an hour and a half for myself every single day, irregardless of what's going on, you know, I do it about 90% of the time. Sometimes work gets in the way, but it needs to. So I make that call. But I trust myself. I trust myself that I won't skip the next day,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm the same. My mornings are always for me now. I set that time for me in the morning, and I think that's really important. Um, so, and I love the fact that you are being a living example, you
Thank you,
know,
Beth.
and the fact that you're not hard on yourself. If you can't walk in the morning, you can walk in the afternoon, or maybe you'll do something else. You see, I'm not a gym person, but I love dancing.
Aha.
And I like walking, and I've got a path here that walks. I can walk on the mountain up to the forest, and
Wow.
so I've got a walking um, path, and I've got music and dancing because my partner's a musician. So there's a lot of music and dancing in my life, and that for me is my exercise. I'm not
Nice.
one to go to the gym and lift weights, right?
Yeah.
But I always say, find something that works for you,
Yeah,
right?
that is true. And as long as you can do that, my partner, not Jim, she likes the gardening, you know.
Right.
So there's a lot of stretching, a lot of lifting heavy objects, a lot of bending. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like gardening too, and going out and doing my flowers and stuff. I wish I had more time to go out onto the land and make myself a vegetable garden, because that would be I would be really in my element, and I will find time soon to do that.
Yeah.
So let's finish with two questions that I ask all my guests, Tara. And the
Okay.
first one is, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self?
To not use food as a coping mechanism, to eat healthy and respect your body.
Nice. And what do you hope your story will inspire in other women who are looking to live a more purposeful and joyful life without the baggage?
To understand the baggage in order to let it go, not to run from it. Because I ran from it like I was running a marathon for 40 something years. And then I realized that the baggage had now caught up with me. You can't outrun it. It will catch you. So start working on it. And there's nothing wrong with it. And forgive your parents because they were doing the absolute best that they could do. They didn't set out to hurt you or whatever the situation is. It was just the time of life they were in. And the in the 80s we parented very different than we parent now. So
Oh, yeah.
forgiveness of you and others.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Forgiveness. What a beautiful word for 2026, really, forgiveness, right?
Mm.
A million thanks to Tara for joining me today. Thanks to our audience for hanging out with us. We hope you found it inspiring and empowering. And you'll find all you need to know about both of us in the show notes below. And until next time, this is the Passionate Pioneer and Tara signing off. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Beth.
You're very welcome. Wow, another powerful Passionista conversation. I hope that this guest's journey, experience, and story has inspired something deep within you. Remember, it's about following the joy moments in your life. It's a beautiful dance with the universe. If you would like to dive deeper into your joy journey with me, you will find all the links below this video, including a link to a free workbook that will help you to start your joy journey. And until next time, Passionista, I'll say goodbye. Much love and joy.